All right, Steve. There is one tradition that I think has bonded us above all, even before the podcast. We have both been in the pursuit of determining what time Penn State will play its football games. I do have a twist to announce at the beginning of this year. Nothing bad, nothing stressful. I wanna. We are the only two that get to celebrate that bond, and I got tired of that.
Oh, okay.
So I am introducing. It will be live when this goes live, and when our article of the picks goes out. The Stuff Summer Says with Steve Kick Time Guessing League. So you will be able to go on the website, submit your answers. We will score you the same way Steve and I score you. We'll walk through the scoring here in a second. And you will.
Oh, so we're going to tell them how the score works as opposed to what they did at Blue White.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're actually going to tell them how it works.
Okay.
And you will be able to win some stuff at the end of the football season for the person that's
podcast of the people. Good job.
Thinking. So that will be on the website. It'll be crystal clear. Now,
I don't think I have a good set here, so somebody's probably going to beat me. So
that's fair. That's fair. And here's the other deal. Here's how this works. You will be able to make as many picks as are available as they come out. So get your picks in now if you want to try to get as maximum number of points. You have a week or so, about 6 days, 5 days until upfronts, which are early next week, which is why we are doing this this week. And then, generally speaking, around May 30th, usually the last couple of days of May, we get the rest of the first 3 weeks in. And then you will have all the way up until the start of football season to get picks in. So, but you can get more points now by entering early. Can't enter often. I think we set a limit there. Steve, you are on mute.
It's like that bar trivia, right?
Yeah.
The sooner you answer before it's counting down. Yeah.
So keep that in mind. So yes, let us begin. Couple of ground rules. They are, of course, that Penn State will play on a Friday. So we will be picking that one, but that's something to consider. Penn State plays at Temple, which will likely be an ESPN family of games. There's that. And then, of course, the one main rule is that Penn State must appear on the Big Ten Network twice, with one of those games being in conference, unless Steve bends the rules again this year and goes off script. I sent you the rules last night for a reason.
I got the rules. I appreciate the rules. I still think this is a bad set of stuff, so we'll see.
All right. There are 12 weeks, 12 football games to pick. The scoring for those scoring at home or scoring in the Kick Time Guessing League, it will be a half point for time and a half point for network. You get a quarter point if you pick NBC, and it ends up on Peacock.
Okay.
So, there we go. Marshall, the first game of the season.
Week 1, 3:30 BTN.
I have noon on FS1.
Wow, it's going to be a big game. First game of the season is going to be could decide the championship.
So, no notes on that one. I have notes on several others, but not that one. I wrestled with that. I thought noon at FS1 just felt right. The next weekend is at Temple. Be the first trip since the Christian Hackenberg 19 sack game that I have. Yeah, I think everybody has PTSD from that one. I wrote down noon ESPN2 on that one.
That's exactly what I wrote. Okay. See, that first game is going to determine the championship.
Okay. It just feels, I don't know, it didn't feel ESPN proper, but felt noon.
Penn State,
ESPN,
it's East Coast.
Wasn't
not sticking on ESPNU.
Yeah, I think that's
Amanda, if you're listening this far into the broadcast, there you go. Feel free to bring us the game. We'll come do a live broadcast from Temple for you.
The Stuff Summer Says with Steve game day. Okay. The next one, Buffalo, the 19th of September.
I think this is going to be a rough year for noon games, so I made that 3:30 on Fox Sports 1.
Okay, we are flip-flopped. I have 3:30 on BTN. Fun fact about this game. I went back and looked at your spreadsheet, Steve's spreadsheet, which is on the website. You can take a look at. Used it for my research today. That 2019 game, which was the Andy Kotelnicki game, and then the last time they were here, that game was on Fox.
Well, Fox does sometimes pick up a non-con game.
It was night. it was weird.
I know, and that scares me about those weird non-con games that, God forbid, like it's some kind of 6 o'clock BTN game or some crazy thing like that for one of those early ones. We'll see.
We get into the conference slate then with Wisconsin. And
they're starting at home.
I struggle. Well, they're starting at home. Pat Kraft saved them all. Thank you, Pat Kraft. I struggled with this one. It's homecoming, and not since the 9 overtime homecoming game in 2021 has there been a noon homecoming game. But it felt natural and obvious to me that this would be a noon Fox game because Matt Campbell's coming out party, if you will, for viewers on Fox, and it just made a lot of sense, especially looking at like what else is that week. There. Do you disagree? You seem to disagree.
Oh, I totally disagreed. But I like your logic. I couldn't see Wisconsin, even though it was the conference opener, being a big noon game. I mean, I guess it doesn't need to be a big noon game just because it's noon on Fox. Because
that's true. It could be whatever.
So I said 3:30 CBS, which didn't feel like it was worth it either. But it depends on who has the week and the picks from the broadcast part.
So that was what was tripping me up because Notre Dame plays at Purdue that weekend. So in theory, that could be NBC, but that felt CBS. That felt more CBS to me. And then Oregon at USC is also that weekend, and to me, that felt NBC, like night game. Like that just
depends on who has them. Yeah.
So that is why I went with that. Yeah, that's that's that one. The next weekend, as we mentioned, is a Friday night game. I think this is Penn State's first Friday night game since like 2023. I can't remember. Maybe a little bit earlier than that. And that one will open up Ryan Field, the new Ryan Field. So I think that's important. I was curious because this is right around the time baseball playoffs, but I believe the baseball regular season is like wrapping up like literally that day. I went with Fox and I went with 8 p.m.
7:30 Fox.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the same thing. I mean, I looked. Baseball is later. World Series is later. It's Chicago. It's the new stadium. It's a Friday night. It's better than Fox Sports 1.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It feels like Tim Brando is also calling that game. That I can call that bonus point. Okay. And then we get to the big home game. And I struggled with where to put this one initially because of the UCLA and Oregon game that day. But when I kind of sat down and thought about it, it just feels obvious that this is going to be a night game on NBC at 7:30 when Penn State, and we assume the whiteout when Penn State hosts USC.
That's what I had.
Okay. Look at us. So we then get to what I think is probably the third most interesting game of the season on the Big Ten slate. I wrote down 5 games that I thought were interesting because this is important to context, right? The first 3 picks we generally believe go to Fox.
Oh, so this will be a differentiator too.
Yes. And so I thought about this and was thinking it through, and then I was looking at the schedule. So there, the 5 games that jumped out to me in terms of 5 most interesting games overall are Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State at Michigan, Ohio State at Indiana, Oregon at Ohio State, and USC at Indiana. For whatever reason, and I do not understand this, and I don't think they were paying attention when they scheduled these games, Ohio State plays Indiana that same day that Penn State plays Michigan. These are the 5 most interesting games of the Big Ten season. And honestly, with that 5th one, USC at Indiana, like there's a drop off between 4 to 5. And then I don't understand why they scheduled these games on the same day if this is the one of the premier matchups. Generally speaking, this is one of the top 10, 15 highest rated football games of the year. But because of that Ohio State game at Indiana, even if Indiana isn't as good as what they were last year, and I don't think they are, I think that goes to Fox, and I think this is a Penn State, Michigan is a CBS 3:30 game.
Exactly what I have for the same reasoning. Ohio State, Indiana is noon on Fox.
I think it's too much of a draw. you've got two big alumni bases.
Yep.
Not that Penn State and Michigan don't have big alumni bases by any means. I just think this is probably the game above all besides the game that is circled. Really,
no, because the noon Ohio State game is going to get you a number, and Penn State Michigan will get them a number.
Yeah.
In the afternoon, but not quite as big a number.
Okay. Then we go to Halloween, and I really struggled with this one. Penn State hosts Purdue. I went with 12 noon on Peacock, and Bill and Linda are upset.
It's funny. I did 12 noon, but I'm BTN. I'll
Okay.
get my Peacock game later.
Okay. Penn State doesn't have to appear on Peacock. There are about 8 Peacock slots, and I think every year now that they've done the Peacock thing, they have appeared on Peacock at least once. So keep that in mind as you are doing, again, the Kick Time Guessing League. The big road game of the year is Penn State going to Washington. This one feels pretty obvious for where it sits in. You've got Michigan playing Michigan State. I had that at noon. You've got Oregon at Ohio State. That feels like it's going to be at night. So what are you going to put at 3:30? Penn State at Washington on CBS.
I did 7:30 on NBC. Hopefully one of these games is going to get in the good network, because I know I have 2 on NBC at 7:30. I just want one of them to be with the best broadcast team. So this was biased in that way. I went out west. I know what else is happening that day, but we'll see.
Okay. I think that's fair. I struggled with the next one. Which is Minnesota. Michigan at Oregon that weekend. USC at Indiana. I picked noon on Fox for the Minnesota game, and
wow, yeah. Then these numbers are, somebody's getting their butt kicked, and it's probably me.
Yeah.
7:00 on Peacock.
You know what? That's not unreasonable. I can
stick kind of like the Iowa game last year, like this game late in the season. That's yeah.
What are we gonna do with it? It's very much and I just, there wasn't that much interesting that day in general. And I don't know. I just felt like Indiana really, like the US. I struggled with USC playing at noon at Indiana. So that was the main reason. Not that it didn't happen with UCLA at Penn State a few years ago, but nonetheless. For the Rutgers game, did you know that 9 of the last 11 Rutgers games have been on BTN?
Might be more than that then.
So in my mind, 10 of 12 are going to be on BTN.
I didn't check my spreadsheet.
4 p.m. I have it at 4 p.m. I think this is going to be the 4 p.m. pick.
I did 3:30 Fox Sports 1.
Okay. So, general same vibe.
Yes.
Very minor difference.
Just who gets it handed to them, yeah.
Okay.
Not just not. What do you mean general? It's not a minor difference. That's a full point difference for somebody. So
that's fair. I mean,
it's going to look close on the field, but bad in the standings.
It's fair. All right. Last game of the year at Maryland. I went with 3:30
BTN.
I went FS1.
Okay, there we go. So we're all sniffing.
We are not as consistent as we were last year. Go ahead.
Yeah, but somebody's going to be fairly right between the two of them. Maybe both of us in some ways. And it's interesting in the amount of thoughts and hours that maybe they don't like that. That would be good to know sometimes. Like, are you really this into it, or is it just like, okay, these are the 5 games with it, as you said, these are the 5 games that make a difference and are going to draw a number. The rest of them are all kind of the same. Let's throw them somebody so somebody has something on TV.
I think we think about this more than Tony Peretti. Like I think we do.
Well, he wouldn't talk about it if he did, so it doesn't matter.
I'm interested to see. I'm proud of us for having very different picks last year. Last year we had like pretty much the same picks for most of the season, and we were right on the first 4 games, at least in terms of time. One of us will be wrong at some point for sure.
In a big way, yeah.
So proud of us there.
And listen to all that free advice that's worth maybe something or nothing as you put together your Kick Time
guessing
KTGL picks.
There's a logo and everything. Don't worry.
Oh, good. I can't wait. It's great.
All right. That's this week's podcast. We'll have this in written form as well. Some of the similar same logic there. And like I said, we'll do this. I don't know. I just figured why us only have the joy? Why not share the joy? You know?
Exactly.
We're men of the people.